The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
What do they call it?
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
Hi everyone, this is Scott with Spitball Cinema again, and I'm here with my co-creator Dave.
Hey, everybody.
Shane is out on special assignment
Yeah.
again.
Yes, that's a very important one.
Yeah, and today we are going to be talking about the movie Pulp Fiction. Do you have to do this every
Man, and I
time?
love this. You have to look.
I mean,
This is
every
one of my
time
favorite
you go
movies of
into
all
one
time.
of these little
This is probably like in the top 3 of my favorite movies of all time. I'm so excited that we're doing this movie. Plus, I'm excited doing it with you because you love it just as much as I do, and we know a lot about it. And for those who haven't seen Pulp Fiction, even if you're a person's like I don't like Quentin Tarantino movies, put that to the side. You gotta watch Pulp Fiction. It's my number 2 favorite movie of his that he has made. Of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's my first one. Jackie Brown would be number 3. Um,
yeah.
but Pulp Fiction, wow, what a ride! What a ride, sir.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It was the thing about this, it kind of changed the way people thought about the way they made movies,
Dude, I'm telling you,
because
that's why
he
my
did it so different.
the way how the scenes are different. They're not in chronological order. Um, and I remember I wanted my brother to watch it, and I knew that maybe he wouldn't like it because it's still considered back in the day, but like an artsy independent movie. Um,
Right.
and he was just wasn't into those kind of films, but he sat down, we watched it with some friends, and he loved it. Everybody loved it. Everybody was like, "That is a movie that unlike any other movie I've seen."
Well,
Um,
what was different about it, it didn't start from the beginning,
yeah.
middle, and end. It jumped around from like the end to the middle to the. It jumped all around, but it tied everything together.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
and the dialogue in this
Oh.
between John Travolta and Sam Jackson
Now
is pretty classic.
it was just awesome. Well, just by you saying that, the title Pulp Fiction refers to the pulp magazines and hard-boiled crime novels popular during the mid 20th century. They were known for their graphic violence and their punchy dialogue.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and Yeah, the movie was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. The stories, he did, all the stories were worked on with a guy by the name of Roger Avery. Uh,
Yeah. Who's on?
what's
They have a podcast right
it
now.
is
It's
so
called
good.
uh,
What's it called? Do you know?
Arc
Video Archives?
Video
Video
Archives.
Archives.
Yeah, it's really good. It was free on Spotify, but then they went to
Well, they got some content on Patreon, so
yeah,
I think if
Patreon.
you pay like $5 a month,
Well, that's not for the premium's
oh,
$8.
is it eight? Okay.
I did it for a while, but uh, they were for me it was like taking too long, so I ended up canceling it and stuff.
Um,
But it was good.
yeah.
But they have a lot of stuff that they do out in California and stuff. So by the time you're getting a lot of it didn't
Well, they're going on tour across North America and also in Europe.
they are
Yeah,
what
with
doing
their
the podcast?
doing the podcast, like they'll talk about one of Quentin's movies because believe it or not, there's Quentin doesn't do like commentary for his movies on the Blu-rays or 4Ks. Um,
That's weird.
I
Why?
know, I don't understand. He of
Why?
all the people that you would
Thank
sit and listen to
yeah
would be Quentin Tarantino and even Roger Avery for this movie.
yeah. I didn't tell you that I had Tarantino responded to a couple of things that I put
I
on
did
there.
not know this. Please do tell.
Yeah,
Do tell.
no, it was just there was one Roger Avery was they were comparing he said that Robbie Benson's character
Oh
in
yeah,
Ice
Ice
Castles was the
Castles.
same as Eric Roberts in Star 80. And I said I said, is he out of his mind? I said
That is awesome
I
because
said
it's so
I said
out there.
and he liked it and he put right, on that, and then uh one other time they were talking about the actor Vic Morrow,
Oh yeah,
and Avery,
Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad, right?
yeah, and I said,
Who was in, by the way, Hateful Eight.
right, and I said, or Roger Avery said that he only knew Vic Morrow from like the Combat series and the Bad News Bears, and I was like, I can't believe
I
that.
can't that's right. He played the mean
Yeah,
father coach.
yeah, and I said I can't believe that's all he knew Vic Morrow from, because
Yeah,
Vic Morrow.
Twilight Zone, the
Well, he
movie.
said the Twilight Zone
Oh, he did.
too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I said Vic Morrow was in King Creole with Elvis, Cinnamon with
That's
Glenn
right.
Ford, and Quentin. Or again, he said, yeah, yeah,
Dude,
right,
that is so
So
cool that
it
they
was.
do that. That they interact with the
Yeah, so
audiences.
sometimes I don't agree with the stuff that they say, but
Right.
anyway, back to
Yeah,
Pulp Fiction.
sometimes they just are way
Yeah,
too outfield for
yeah,
me.
and sometimes those 70 movies they're talking about, oh, how great this was, and I would go to watch that movie and it was freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Some of the
It's like you have to wait for the bad stuff to get to the good stuff
yeah,
they're talking
yeah,
about.
but Tarantino's a big 70s guy
Oh yeah.
anyway. I mean, so
60s too.
yeah. So anyway, back to the Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction
yeah, yes,
thing.
yes, yes.
What do you think about
Let me ask you this.
so,
When did you go see it and where did you see it? Did you see it in the theater or was you
no,
overseas?
I did not see it in the theater. I was overseas when it came out. I was in Korea actually
Okay.
when it came out. I didn't see it until I got back home in Kansas City. I saw it on. I think I rented it from like Blockbuster or somewhere like that. And then,
Did you know that this was the same director of Reservoir Dogs, or did you just went in blind?
oh no, no, I knew
Oh,
kind of who. Yeah, because I had seen Reservoir Dogs and stuff, and I knew this was a big movie.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
Because this was John Travolta's comeback
comeback
movie.
movie.
Everybody was talking about how John Travolta was so good in this and
Yeah,
stuff,
we'll get back to that.
And so, yeah, that's so I had been wanting to see it, and then for Pulp Fiction, you either like this movie or you hate the movie. I
Absolutely.
mean, it seems
There's
like
no in between.
there's like no in between. Either you get it or you don't.
By the way, if you haven't seen this movie, we ask you to watch it and then come back and listen to it because we're going to be doing major spoils. Because
Yeah.
believe it or not, a lot of people haven't seen Pulp Fiction
Well, if
still.
they haven't by now, I mean, they're
I think they know of it, but probably maybe just saw clips on the internet.
yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen this, I mean, the thing came out in what
94, yeah.
94. So I mean, uh, we're not going to spoil anything too much, I guess. But
So you went and rented it, right?
yeah, from Blockbuster. I'm pretty sure it was Blockbuster.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Blockbuster.
yeah, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, well, so
Yeah.
the movie ends. They're going outside of the
hmm
restaurant.
hmm
What did you think?
well, I thought it was a very good movie. Uh, the only thing I was kind of shocked at the movie was the deliverance type scene they had.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know,
man,
I was like, whoa, because I didn't
that
see
part.
that.
Banana,
Yeah, I didn't
banana.
see that
Yeah,
coming.
didn't see that coming, did you?
No, but it was with
Your jaw was dropped.
one
You're
of
like,
the
what? What is this?
I remember as I'm watching uh, towards the beginning when John Travolta and Sam Jackson are in the car and they're talking, and he said, "Do you know what they call a
Quarter
quarter
pounder.
pounder of cheese in Paris?" And
You knew,
I had been in Germany, and I said, "I know what it is. I know what it is." And I started saying it, and then he goes, "A royale with cheese,"
dude. I got goosebumps,
you
man.
know.
I
But
love this movie so much.
I was like, "Wow," I couldn't believe that was in there, because um, in in Germany, the first time I go into a McDonald's, I go up to the lady and I say, I want a quarter pounder with cheese, a large fry, and a Coke. And she looked at me like I was from Mars or something. I don't want a quarter pounder, but like he says in the movie, they don't want the full quarter
The
pounder.
big
Is
brain on
they,
Scott.
they got dementia. Yeah, yeah. And so I had to point, and what theirs was like hamburger royal Picasso,
Oh,
which
okay.
which means with cheese. So
Did they
when
serve beer at McDonald's
oh,
in Germany?
I believe so. I never had a beer in McDonald's,
Wow.
but I always I always quarter pound of cheese and a Coke. I wasn't used to having beer, but they
Yeah.
did serve beer in like movie theaters and stuff.
Yeah.
They even did that on the base,
Wow.
where I was at.
Oh
So
man.
it was it was interesting to see this. From me being over there, and then Quentin Tarantino referencing this in this movie.
So cool.
But that beginning scene with Amanda Plummer and Tim Roth when they're in the coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
It,
Honey
it- well,
Bunny.
it was the beginning, but it was also the end. Because he's jumping back and forth. But they're sitting there and they're doing this whole dialogue about you know robbing things, and then when
Coming up with a new idea of
yeah, coming
Rob.
up with a new idea of robbing a coffee shop. Nobody ever robbed a coffee shop.
No
Why
one
not?
robs a restaurant.
Yeah. And then when he jumps up and says, everybody be cool, this is a robbery. And then she jumps up and just
You are
because
scared of her.
she just scares the shit out of you because she was talking all calm and collective and she gets up, everybody, I'll execute every last mother effing one of you,
Yeah. Oh my
and you're
gosh.
just like, whoa.
Then you're like, "Oh,
I
make
mean,
sure the seat belts are on because we're going
yeah,
for a
yeah,
ride."
and then that music comes down, and you're just like, "Whoa, what are we getting into?"
So kick
You know?
ass, man.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
Dick Dale.
yeah. I think
Um,
so. I think so.
that first song, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and you're
he has
just
that
like,
cool thing, like someone was changing the
and he
station.
does that in a lot of his movies because
Well, it's kind of cool because the next
yeah,
scene is Jules and
hmm
Vincent in the car. So
yeah, yeah. And so then they start playing the
the
jungle
Jungle Book,
boogie. Yeah, the
yeah.
jungle
Oh,
boogie, and you're just like, wow, what are we getting into?
this is so cool, yeah.
And then it goes to them. And they're just having this casual conversation, like two.
But they're interesting conversations.
Yeah,
It's something
about
that
him being over, there
in
in
yeah,
Amsterdam. They talk about
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam
Yeah,
and how you can smoke anything you want over there, but they want you to do it in certain
yeah,
places.
and
You can't just start rolling a
yeah,
joint puff away, as he
cops
says.
can't search you.
Yeah, and Jill's like, "Oh man, I'm going."
Yeah.
And they just and then they start talking about Vincent's supposed to take
Oh,
his boss's wife
Mia to
Mia
while
out
he's out of
while
town.
he's out, and he's like, "You're taking Mia Wallace out on a date?" No, 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 it's not a date.
Well, he kept asking questions to him before he tells about the date. He's
Yeah,
like, what do you know about her? And he tells her about the plot for
mm,
that movie or the show.
yeah, yeah.
And then they talk about
She was on it. Did a pilot
Pilot,
that got
yeah,
canceled, and then they talk about Rocky.
Rocky about Tony Rakahara.
Yeah, Tony Rocco and how Marcellus Wallace threw him out a window, and they all thought it was because he gave Mia Wallace a foot massage. And then they get in this argument about, or not really argument, but this discussion about how
A foot massage doesn't mean
doesn't mean
anything. Yeah.
anything, and like Vincent was saying, yeah, it does,
And then he kind of like at the end of it, he's like, yeah, maybe you have
yeah, maybe you're right, yeah, they have
yeah.
this whole freaking about what the meaning, and Tarantino, once again, he has a fetish with feet. I say this in every one of his movies. It seems like he's got some kind
I
of
could guarantee you one movie that didn't have
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he has this fetish with people's feet, especially women's feet. For some reason, I don't know what it
I'm
is.
not. I'm not into that. I don't know
Yeah,
what the how guys and girls could
And
get
even in from
aroused
Dust,
by that.
even in Dust Till Dawn, he's sucking
Yeah,
on
but I'm saying
Salma
like he
Hayek's
had
feet.
some good feet
Yeah,
shots of Salma
Salma Hayek.
Hayek,
Yeah,
Margot Robbie.
yeah. Well, he even
Uh,
shows Leo's feet in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in
that's
Hollywood.
right. He gives a
You
little.
know, So I mean, he's got this weird thing
He's got a weird obsession with feet.
with
Yeah.
feet. Then
Well, even because Vincent was like, he's like, well, was like, look, I know throwing a guy out 3 stories to the ground is a little bit much, but
yeah,
that's his wife, man.
yeah.
Just to say I have to go to the bathroom or I have diarrhea and that will kill the feeling, of her wanting a massage. But
Yeah, I mean, it just and it's so funny because they're going up to this door and they look at his watch and he goes, "It's not quite time yet. Let's
hang back.
hang back," and then they finish that
That's
conversation
so
about the
cool,
feet,
man.
and then he
Yeah.
says, "Okay, let's get into character."
Yes, that means
So they're getting into this character,
they're getting in
and
the
you don't know
mindset
really at this time
going on.
what's really going on. What are
Yeah.
they doing?
I thought maybe they were going to audition because they were both in suits and ties and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe a Blues
Well,
Brothers thing or something.
no, you wouldn't know that because
Oh, wait a minute.
you
Oh,
kind of
wait.
have
They have the shotgun,
yeah, you kind of have an idea something's going on because John Travolta says,
the shotgun thing.
we should have how many people are up there? We should
Yeah.
have shotguns. So you know something's up.
Yeah.
But then they knock
Forgot about
on this door and then they go in there and
that.
they totally change. I mean,
The whole movie
the whole
changes. I
and
got nervous
yeah,
because I'm like, oh my God, are they going to kill all
these
these
guys
dudes?
are in there and they're eating cheeseburgers at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Big Kahuna.
And then
Big Kahuna
and,
burgers.
and Sam and Jackson takes over the room.
Oh
I mean,
my
as soon as he
God.
walks in, he takes over the room. John Travolta hangs back.
He's
He's
smoking.
quiet.
Yeah, he's rolling up a cigarette.
They're rolling up a cigarette. He's quiet and just listening. And Sam Jackson, he's just kind of calm, asking all these questions. I see we caught you boys at breakfast. What are you having? And he said,
Yeah.
hamburgers. And he's right. Cheeseburger. He goes, cheeseburger, the cornerstone of every nutritious breakfast. Where'd you get him? Or he said, what kind? And he says, cheeseburgers. He said, no, where'd you get 'em? McDonald's, Wendy's, Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
He's a big kahuna.
Kahuna burger.
Which I bet you if they started a big kahuna burger chain, that it would make all
Oh my
kinds of
God.
money.
Yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
there every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, that part when he says what's after he takes those bites of the cheeseburger, he goes, "What's in this?" And the guy goes, "Sprite." He goes, "You might, if I have a little Sprite to wash this down." And I knew that once he drank the whole drink of
Yeah.
Sprite, I'm like, "Oh, they're definitely dying."
Yeah, remember he sets it down and he kind of claps his hands. He goes, "You flock of seagulls." The guy laying on the couch. He said, "You know what we're here for?" And
Yeah.
then they get this case. He and
Yeah, this starts like one of the
yeah, big mystery.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, so John Travolta opens up this case that they came there to get, and it has this. As soon as he opens it up, it has this glow.
Yeah, gold
This
glow.
gold
And
glow,
then if
and
you
then he
have
goes,
if you have a good stereo system with your TV, the subwoofer like rumbles when
"Oh,
he's
does
got
it?
when he opens up the suitcase, it
Yeah,
starts
okay,
like really loud,
yeah,
and then when he closes it, it's gone.
because Sam Jackson says, Vincent, are we happy?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, we happy."
Uh, oh, question for you. Rewind just a little bit. The combination on the suitcase.
666.
Do you have any kind of theories about
Well,
or read maybe
I've read something that this was Marcellus Wallace's soul.
soul? Yeah, that he was trying to keep hidden away from the devil or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. That's what I had heard. So and it kind of makes sense a little bit,
A
but
little bit.
a little bit.
But I like how they he always kept it. He goes, "What's in that suitcase is whatever you come up with."
And all through the movie, I'm thinking, what was in that damn case?
Everybody was doing that.
What the hell was in there?
Yeah.
But that's what was cool. It leaves you it up to your imagination.
Yeah.
and it gets everybody talking.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know.
Hell, even some people were like, "What's in that case?" in the movie theater and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I saw it. I saw it opening night, at 7 o'clock at night, at a movie theater, that's not open anymore. But I went with a whole bunch of friends from college, Carrie, Jeremy, Ellie, Jill. I mean, I had to somehow. I don't know how I did it, but we used to go see movies every week and
Right.
every weekend because we were all in choir and we all were doing the plays in college and stuff like that. And I think this was the weekend. That's how I think I got everyone to go see it because no one knew what the hell it was. I don't even think most of them had seen the trailer. Yeah, because I don't think YouTube was even around that back in '94, right?
I can't remember. I don't remember ever getting. I don't remember even getting on the internet in '94 myself.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It wasn't until later.
Like
Yeah,
95,
I mean, I think it was out,
90.
but I wasn't.
You had the dial up
Yeah, well, I don't even think I had a computer back then.
guy.
I
Yeah.
don't remember having a. I didn't really get a computer till I was married to Christy. I think it was after
Mm,
'96.
96, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
That's
around.
when they were getting a little bit more affordable.
Yeah,
And actually the dial-up
yeah. I
modems
didn't
were
know anything about it. I remember going to
yeah.
Maple Woods to sign up for some classes, and they had me get on this computer, and I had to have the lady come over
Wow.
and help me turn it on. I said, I don't know anything about this
Oh, wow.
at all.
That's awesome.
So she had to she had to log on for me.
Yeah. So I think it was my weekend that I chose the movie. And that's how I got them and everybody just they were cheering by the end of the movie. The part when they were doing their thing to um oh God, what's his name? Marcellus Wallace when they were doing when Maynard and Zed were doing that stuff where the people were like covering their eyes. But I'll tell you that part when Bruce Willis, you know, kills the Gimp and then he goes up and he starts looking around for a weapon. And when people saw the chainsaws, people were like cheering. But then he stops and he sees that samurai sword.
Yeah,
Everybody in the theater were like,
you're jumping way
"Oh,
ahead of the
well,
news,
some were kind
buddy.
of like doing what how the movie does, and then you
Oh,
know,
okay. I mean, yeah,
I mean, people who listen to this, they know what,
yeah,
So I mean, that scene,
yeah. Because I didn't know what the hell was going on there. I mean, because I'm like, what is?
I thought they were just beating him up,
Yeah, because I'm like,
kind of
what are
were.
they doing? And then when Bruce Willis, like you said, he comes in there and he's trying to figure out which weapon to grab. I
Well,
thought,
first he's like, "Do I go back and help this guy? Maybe he'll let me live." Or do
right,
I let them do what they're doing?
right,
And because they were going to kill him
because they
afterwards.
had him all tied up down in the him and Marcellus Wallace both.
Oh
Remember,
yeah,
he's doing the eeny meeny miny mo,
yeah.
and that's how he, you know,
That's
and they let Bruce Willis go, and he starts to run out of
well,
there.
he's not. They didn't let him go. He was going to be number two.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
he's climbed. He got he got out of that chair, and then the Gimp was trying to scream at him like, "Hey,
Oh
help!"
yeah, he kind of jumps up and starts breaking loose, doesn't he? That's right. And then he runs out, and then he stops and he goes back.
Because he's at
Right?
that door, right?
Yeah,
And he's like, "Fuck, do I go
yeah.
back
Do
and
I go
save
back
him?"
because I could save my ass right now? This guy's trying to kill me anyway.
Yeah,
You know, Marcel Spall's trying to kill him because Bruce Willis threw this fight. He was supposed to throw a fight and didn't.
yeah, that's right.
And
He ended up
he
killing.
killed the guy,
He
didn't he?
killed the guy.
Yeah, as a
He's like
boxer
he
because
was
he
sending a message to Marcellus about
yeah.
that.
And so, yeah, that was and then when they go back and they open that door, you're like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
the deliverance type scene,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, here,
I mean, you just weren't I mean, you weren't even,
I wasn't expecting that at
dude.
all.
I mean, I didn't read anything about anything before going into the movie. I just
Yeah.
knew that I loved Reservoir Dogs and I love John Travolta.
hmm
And it's like, and then yeah, that's
And Bruce Willis, I mean,
Bruce
when
Willis
he
was
was,
still big. Oh my
oh, yeah, I
gosh.
mean, he was big star at this time,
Oh man. Yeah.
And so, yeah, and that. that was a wild scene, you know.
All right, so do you think he did the right thing by going back and saving him?
Well, yeah. I mean, he actually by doing that, he kind of saved his Marcellus wasn't going to look for him anymore and try to kill him because he saved Marcellus's life,
Yeah.
you know, for what he did,
Yeah, I agree.
you know,
I would have gone back and did
because
it too.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
he kind of like it's like
maybe,
a piece of the good him probably from the past kind of came back,
yeah.
you know,
Well, and I think at the same time, Willis was like, these dudes tied me up too, that they were gonna
rape
do
and
that
kill me. Yeah.
do that to me. So I'm not gonna let these two idiots, even though Marcel's trying to kill him, I'm gonna, you know,
Such a great, just great storytelling, man. Great writing.
because remember Bruce Willis says to Marcel, he said, "You all right?" He said, "No, I'm pretty fucking far from all right." You hear me talking to you, hibbity boy?
Yeah, and in the background you hear,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fucking
I mean,
Zed going,
Marcellus Wallace, he's got that deep baritone
oh yeah,
voice, Ving Rhames,
Ving
you know,
Rhames. Oh, such a
and
great actor.
yeah, and he said, "I'm about ready to get medieval on your ass," you know,
And I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah,
you, everybody remembered that line
yeah,
after the movie. I
yeah,
mean, there was a ton of lines that people
yeah,
I mean, we were saying it because we always went out and ate after the movie, and people were just like, "Oh my god!" Blah, 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 blah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think some of us went and actually saw it again the next night.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't if you like this movie, this isn't a movie that you just watched once.
Oh my
You
gosh,
go
no.
back and watch it over and over, and you kind of pick up. It's one of these movies, like a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies, that you uh, pick up little things here and
Oh
there.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I mean, we just fell in love with the movie, and people went back and watched Reservoir Dogs, and maybe they liked it, or maybe they
Mhm.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
Um,
You started researching more of Quentin Tarantino stuff,
yeah,
what he had
definitely.
done, what he had written.
Well, plus
Yeah.
we were happy that movie came out because it saved John Travolta.
Yeah, because everybody John Travolta was such a big star back in
Oh
the
my
70s. I mean,
God,
for our
huge.
generation, I mean, we grew up
Huge.
watching this.
Not only a movie star, but a TV
Well, that's what
star.
I was going to
And
say.
also, he sold a lot of albums. He was a singer
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was going to say. We watched him on Welcome Back Carter
Oh
and
yeah,
seen him come up to Saturday Night Live or Saturday Night
Fever.
Fever, Grease, Blowout. And then he kind of, in the 80s, he started kind of trickling off and he started doing these Look Who's Talking movies. And
Well, we can't forget Urban Cowboy.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Urban, but that was in the 70s still.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Or 70s or early 80s.
Okay, I got you.
And so it is kind
Well,
of,
yeah, he was cut. He wasn't getting the big roles
yeah, he,
that he used to.
yeah,
But
and
I mean, believe it or not, the first two Look Who Talking movies did really good at the
right,
box
right,
office and also in the rentals.
right.
But when they did the one with the dogs talking and
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't,
he was a huge star back in the 70s. I mean, there was nobody,
huge.
bigger than him in the
No,
later
maybe
70s.
close to Clint Eastwood,
No,
maybe.
I wouldn't say that, but no. Well, come on. I mean,
Well, Clint
Clint,
Eastwood had a lot of hits in the
yeah,
'70s.
Clint, but John Travolta wasn't on the same level as Clint Eastwood. I mean, that's a whole different caliber. That's
Well,
a whole
we'll save that for
that's
another
a
time.
whole different caliber of actor, and no,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Travolta did the fun actiony or not actiony movies, but
yeah,
the fun movies,
yeah.
and then
You're talking apples and oranges here, man.
Eastwood did
Eastwood's
more of the.
a legend. I mean, he's a freaking legend.
Well, I'm
I
just
mean, he's
saying.
up there like with John
Well,
Wayne
I
and
know
stuff.
that, but I'm just
You can't.
saying. But back in the '70s, they were both big in the
No,
box
yeah, but
office.
not no. You can't compare Travolta and Eastwood in the same sentence, okay? I love John Travolta, but Clint Eastwood is Clint
Oh
Eastwood. You can't
my
even
gosh,
go there.
they're equal.
No,
That's
they're
great.
not equal.
Yes, they
No,
are.
they aren't. They
I'm
aren't.
telling. Just comment. May
They're
leave
not
a
even the same
comment.
fucking
Leave
ballpark.
a comment down below because
Yeah,
I'm telling you, everyone's going to agree with
they're
me.
not even in the same ballpark.
Oh,
It's
they're
not even
oh,
close. No,
definitely the same ballpark.
no,
They're
no,
also in the
no.
same concession
No,
stands.
no, no. You're just being dramatic as shit because and
Whatever.
that's bullshit. I mean, I'm with you on John Travolta and stuff, but not comparing him to Clint Eastwood. I mean, That's just
Well, they both kind of like did. They both kind of tampered off in the early mid '80s. I
Clint
mean,
never tampered off.
well, Clint
Clint,
was doing like Bronco Billy and
and he did some, but he was still making movies, and plus he was directing a lot too.
well, I know that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
All right. The
Clint,
audience will
Clint's
decide.
Clint.
Leave a comment down
Clint is
below if you
Clint.
believe
No,
if they're in the same ballpark.
no, they're
Not
not.
saying that they're one's better actor than the
No,
other. I
no, no,
think they're
no.
both equal
No,
as
they're
great.
not even close to being
All
equal.
right. Well, the audience will tell us down in the comments. All right, but
But
so yeah, yeah, my friends love that movie. My brother and his friends love that movie. And what would you think would probably be your favorite scene in that whole movie,
when John Travolta and Mia Wallace dance
dude?
and to Chuck
Same thing.
Berry's "You Never Can Tell."
Oh my
I mean,
god,
because I think
that whole
you,
Jack. Would you say the whole Jack Rabbit Slim
yeah,
scene?
yeah, I liked that part because
I knew you would like it because of that guy. Because I know you were a big fan of Ricky Nelson, and that.
yeah, but that was just a small little.
Well, I know, but it was cool to see on.
Yeah, I mean they showed a lot,
You
characters
saw,
dressed up like Marilyn Monroe,
yeah,
James Dean, but uh,
Mammy Van Dorn.
but when they got up there to do that twist
Oh my
contest,
God.
and you're like, oh shit, John Travolta is going to dance because you hadn't seen him dance since like Grease or something, I mean,
Well,
not
he kind of danced in one of the Look Who Talking
yeah,
movies,
yeah,
but that
he
was
did,
fun, funny, and
but
stuff like that. Not
not
serious.
serious. And then when he gets up
Staying
there,
alive. Well, Staying Alive, he was.
and then Uma Thurman, who's
Oh,
playing Mia Wallace, she is so
God, I love her.
beautiful, and she
She's not
just
beautiful. She's just a great actress. I
well,
mean,
she great actress, and there, I think more than saying she's beautiful, she's got a really good, she's sex appeal about her.
oh
She's
yeah,
sexy.
big time.
She's
Yeah.
very sexy,
Oh yeah.
And then when she gets up there and she's doing the dance, and he's not. They're not just doing the twist. I mean, he's doing the mashed potato, the Batman,
Oh, that's right. The Batman, the eye
the
thing.
eye thing with the
Yeah.
Batman, and they're doing this big thing. You're like, wow. I mean, it was just such a great
Well, I could tell you
scene.
when we saw that on opening night in the theater, most of the older crowd knew what they were going to get and what they were going to be in store for. A lot of the
Mm.
younger kids, a lot of younger crowd didn't get it because I don't think they've
They
seen.
hadn't grown up with John
There you
Travolta.
go. They didn't know about.
Yeah,
But you're right. I mean, everyone wanted to have a Jackrabbit Slims in their town. I
yeah.
mean, because they had that big ass electric car track, and then
And Tarantino thought about starting a chain
did he really?
of Jack Rabbit Slims, but for some reason he never did.
Yeah.
He never did
I
do it.
remember him on the commentary for From Dusk Till Dawn that he goes, everybody wanted me to start a chain of Jackrabbit Slims. He's like, I'd rather open up a whole bunch chain of titty twisters.
Oh God, he would. Yeah, yeah. That Jack Rabbit Slims that would have been kind of
Yeah,
cool.
dude, they're right. That might
Yeah.
be hard for me to over.
Oh, I'd have to go to that. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
mine was probably when they got back from Jack Rabbit Slims. The
Okay.
whole thing of her snorting the heroin, thinking it was
Hmm.
coke.
Right.
He's telling himself in the bathroom, like, you can't do anything
Can't
with.
mess with her because they have this kind of chemistry
Yeah,
between them.
yeah.
An awkward pause and.
Definitely awkward pause, yeah.
Mhm.
And when when you see that shot of Thurman with puke coming out of her
Oh
mouth,
man.
and he's coming out of the bathroom, and you hear this in the background. Okay, Mia, I guess I got. Oh, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Please don't be offended by this. I'm just quoting a movie. He's like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
fuck me.
Because she had Vincent's overcoat on,
Yeah.
his coat on, and he had heroin in his pocket. She thought it was coke.
Yeah.
Snorts it while he's in the bathroom talking to himself, trying to talk himself out of not messing around with her because
Yeah.
that's Marcellus Wallace's wife. And then now she's dying on him,
Because you fucking bitch.
and so he's got to go save her. Takes him over to his drug dealer, played by
Eric
Eric
Stoltz.
Stoltz,
I love Eric
and
Stoltz so much,
his
dude.
wife Rosanna Arquette,
Arquette, yeah.
and you know,
But he's sitting there like eating
yeah,
cereal,
he's eating cereal like Captain Crunch or
and
something like it. He reminded me of my cousin Jason sitting there eating cereal at like 12 o'clock at night or something. He looked just like my cousin Jason, dude. And
What's funny is
and
that everybody in the
and
theater was yelling, "Pick it up!"
yeah, the phone's just ringing and ringing, and she's screaming at him to answer the
And
phone.
he's just slowly putting his
Yeah,
bowl up, slowly putting
and
his spoon. Well, he licks the spoon clean and then
then
slowly puts it on
yeah,
the. And then
and then
when
remember,
he answers, he's like, "Hello."
yeah, and John Travolta's screaming at him, hey, I got this. He said, whoa, 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 don't be bringing some coked out. You,
Bubblegum popper or
yeah,
something like that.
you bite the bullet and take her to the hospital. He said, no, this is Marcellus Wallace's wife. I'm going to have to tell him you didn't help. He said, are you talking about me on a cell phone?
Ring color, ring
Prank
color.
caller, prank caller, I don't know you. Then you hear his car come screeching up
Oh,
there. And this whole scene where they're trying to save her life and what do
well, he
they,
crashes the car and
crashes the
bounce.
car and then they get like, he had this like adrenaline shot. And
Yeah.
remember that needle?
Oh my
That bitch was
God.
like 2 feet long and this
Yeah.
big old syringe. And John Travolta has to stick her
We'll
with
talk
it.
about the argument before. He goes, "You do it." No,
Yeah, they're
you
trying to
do
argue who's going to do it. He said, when I bring a coked out bitch to your house,
it.
then you can do it. But he tells Vince that you're going to get the shot. Remember, they draw this little,
Well, he was pissed because he lost the argument, and then he
yeah,
asked Rosanna Arquette, "Do you have a felt pen
yeah,
marker?
they draw this
A
little,
felt pen, a fucking marker."
they draw this little red circle up where her heart's at.
Well, wait, rewind back. When she brings the pen over, he's like not even looking at her. He grabs the
Grab it.
marker, goes, "Thank you."
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Then he goes, "All right, you got to stab her really hard." And when he's saying that, he's doing a stabbing motion with his hand 3 times. And then
Right.
Travolta goes, I
Stab
got."
her 3 times?
No. You stab her once, but you got to penetrate the breastplate to
Yeah.
get to her heart.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, and it gets so tense
Everybody, you
because
couldn't hear a pin drop,
because
or you could hear a
he
pin drop,
raises that syringe and the camera,
and the drop of the
yeah, and the drop of
adrenaline.
the adrenaline comes out of the needle, and the camera's like shooting right up at John Travolta, and then he stabs down, and
Did you watch, or did you like cover
no,
your
I
eye?
watched,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
A lot of people were covering their
oh no,
eyes because they thought it was going to be
and
graphic.
she jumps up screaming, like takes this big deep breath, and she's like, oh, and everybody's just looking at her, and then
Well, everybody's like exhaling, like,
yeah.
oh,
Remember, the needle's still hanging out of her freaking chest. It's just the syringe. It's a huge syringe. It's just
you know
standing
what? We
there.
have to go back and watch. Like you said, this movie, you go back and find new stuff. Did he actually hit the marker part on her chest, or was it like to the side or below it? Or,
They never went into that.
well, when you see her wake up, you see the needle sticking out of her
Well, I'm
breast.
sure he hit where the mark was dead.
I don't know. That's the thing. Let's see if he actually hit it or not.
Well, he obviously hit it right because she woke up.
No, I'm saying yes, but
If he would have missed it, it would have killed her.
I'm not. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm saying that if did he actually hit the marker?
I don't know, and nobody know who asked that kind of question.
I do. That's why we have this podcast
I
for.
mean, damn, nobody's noticing the damn red mark. Yeah, he went through the red marker. I'm going to say
How do
that.
you know that?
Because she survived. He didn't miss.
I'm looking for
And then he would have had to pull it back out and do it again.
three
Or he
times.
killed her.
3 times.
No, I mean, damn. But anyway, what
That's my favorite part of the movie because
really
it just. I mean, yours is a close second. I'm talking
right.
close.
But I also
But that whole part of her ODing,
I also
dude, when she pulls out that coke or that thing of heroin, the whole theater was going, no.
right.
I
I
mean,
also love the dialogue with Sam Jackson when he's in there talking to those guys, after they go in there with the cheeseburgers and stuff, because he starts.
oh, he does that
He does
religion.
yeah, he asked them if they, the one guy kept.
You read the Bible, right?
Saying what, and because Sam Jackson changes Remember, he changes from this cool, calm, collected. He shoots the guy on the couch. He throws up the, and he says, ask him. He said, do you read the Bible? And then he says he gives this verse, Ezekiel. I can't remember what he said, but he quotes this thing from the Bible, and the way Sam Jackson, he's walking and he turns his face to face the camera, and his eyes are bugging out,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
you're just
man.
like, holy
That is
crap.
like one of the meanest looks
Yeah, and
I've
he's like,
ever seen
I will
on
strike
film.
down on thee with all my, and you will know I am the Lord.
Dude.
And he raises that gun and he shoot. You're just like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just an intense scene. I know we're jumping back and forth a lot
Well,
here,
that's how the movie is, so
but
that's what
yeah,
we're doing it.
yeah. So I mean, it was a really good scene for his character and stuff. And you,
Great writing.
yeah. And then later on in the movie, you see what happens afterwards. There was somebody hiding. They come out, shoot at Jules and John Travolta, and they miss. They just raise their guns and shoot the guy. And then you're just like, and
Well, you see John Travolta's character's face. It's like, oh man, I'm
yeah,
gonna hear about this.
yeah. And he goes over to that. Why didn't you? That one guy, the black kid that lets him in. He goes, "Why didn't you tell us there was someone with a goddamn hand in the bathroom?"
Slip your mind.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas Travolta, it doesn't really phase him. He just takes it as a freak of nature. But Sam Jackson's character, Jules, it transforms him. It changes him.
Definitely.
Yeah, because he says, this is
Sign from God.
yeah, we should be dead. This is a sign from God. I need to get out of this life and quit this stuff. But John Travolta's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a freak thing. And here they go back to this argument over certain things. Uh, and so he's just like, and then they get in this philosophical thing with them, and they got Marvin in the back seat as they're driving away from the place, and they ask Marvin what his opinion is, and he said, "Man, I don't know." And John Travolta turns and he puts his gun up there and he says, "Oh, come on,
Gun pointed at
you've got to have a reason." And they hit a bump and the gun goes off and blows Marvin's head off and blood's all over. And Sam Jackson, what the? Oh man, I accidentally shot Marvin in the face. Why did you do that?
He must have hit like a bump in the road or something.
No bump, and now here they are covered in blood. This guy's brains are all over the back seat and the window.
That was a close. That was probably my number one pick, but
Yeah, and then you get in this other scene. What are they going to do? And then
they called the wolf.
Well, they didn't call the wolf.
Oh wait, they called Marcellus.
Marcellus Wallace.
You're right.
But first he says I call my partner Jimmy. He's going over to his partner Jimmy's house that's close by.
Oh yeah,
And then
played by Quentin Tarantino.
yeah, and then yeah, played by Quentin Tarantino. Then Sam Jackson calls Marcellus, who says, chill them all out, because the wolf be coming shortly. So, oh, you sending the wolf? That's all you had to say. And who's the wolf?
Dude,
As the cleaner, it's Harvey Keitel.
one of the best actors ever.
And he just shows up so quirky and just kind of matter of fact. And the thing that I thought was funny about him when he shows up, or even when Jules and them show up at Jimmy's house, is they start talking about Jimmy's coffee. Say, hey, Jimmy, this is coffee. And Jessica would have been happy with some tasted choice. You got this information on it. And so he starts talking about the coffee, and Jimmy's like, hey, I don't want to hear about the coffee. I know how good it is. I just want to talk about the guy that's in there with his head blowed off.
But then that coffee thing works in another scene.
Yeah, because when the wolf shows up, he says, I smell coffee. And then he takes a sip and he's like, he's like acknowledging how good this damn coffee is.
It was like a Folgers commercial.
You got all this crap going on. They keep talking about this coffee. So it's a cool scene. And then John Travolta gets kind of smart with the wolf because the wolf's telling him to do this, 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 and this. And John Travolta says, "Thank you would be nice." Then he says, "Hey, you don't want my help? I'm out of here, James." So yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then they go through the whole scene of cleaning up the car and
Because you're like, how in the hell are they gonna?
yeah,
I mean,
and I love because Sam Jackson's bitching at John Travolta the whole time. And he tells him, "Look, Jules, there's just so much I can take,
yeah,
and I'm just saying,
I'm in a.
I'm like a race car, and right now I'm in the green, but I'm about ready to go to the red, and I'm just saying it's dangerous when a race car is in the red." And he says, "Oh, you're gonna blow." He said, "Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker, you know, I'm Superfly."
Guns of the
TNT. I'm
Network.
guns of the network. What am I doing on brain detail? We're switching. You know, makes him get in the back and cleans off.
Oh god.
So they get it cleaned all up and stuff. They get Jimmy's because Jimmy's wife is coming home,
Yeah.
and they got to get it the times clicking down. You know, he doesn't want his wife coming home finding a bunch of gangsters and a dead body, or in a car, or he's going to get divorced. You know, so they get in Jimmy's clothes and stuff, and they take off. You know, and the wolf, you know, they really respect him, and Harvey Keitel has some good scenes in there
Oh my
with him when
gosh, yeah. But with the girl that played it's Pat on Sound Out Loud,
yeah, yeah. I forgot that was she played. That's the girl that played
Julia
that.
Sweeney, I
Yeah,
think.
I
Yeah.
forgot that was her.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Just the conversation between them was
right,
like, my God, these guys dodged a bullet, and then
yeah,
they had that nice little
because you
scene.
never know when they're going to get out of this. You know how they, you know, and
Mm.
then it kind of goes back. Like I said, Tarantino jumps all around in this
Yeah.
movie, and now you're going back to the coffee shop scene again. Oh, but we forgot about uh,
Oh,
uh,
Bruce.
Bruce and John Travolta. They had this thing. Well, it's kind of
Yeah, I don't think
remember it.
that's another question I was going to ask you. What was the beef? Was he like looking at him like you're going to throw a fight,
They just didn't
or
like each other. It was just because actually when they go from the Wolf's Jimmy's house, they go to Marcellus Wallace's club before the coffee shop
that's
because
right?
they got on the.
Yep,
They said, "Hey, what are you wearing?"
they
You know, and then
you go to a beach party.
John, and that's the part where they show Marcellus Wallace talking to
The
Bruce
Bruce,
Willis about throwing the fight, and John Travolta walks up to the bar and Bruce Willis comes up there to get a pack of Red Apple
Red
cigarette.
Apple. There you
Red
go.
Apple cigarettes is a signature
Made up.
made up cigarettes that Tarantino
Yeah,
has had in several of his
I
movies,
think almost all of them. But
and they just don't like each other. I mean, you know, he said, "Can I have?" You know, they give each other a dirty look, and he said, "You know, they just it's a."
well, he's like, what does he say to him? Something like, "You looking at something, friend?"
Yeah, he said, "I'm not your friend,
Oh,
Punchy." He calls
yeah,
him Punchy, you know, and they just have this animosity towards
yeah.
each other for some. You know, sometimes people just don't connect. That's the way I got it.
I thought
You know,
maybe something happened before he went to
well, maybe
Amsterdam.
he went and drew the little circle on Mia Wallace, and you know, maybe that's what it was. You know, that pissed him off. You know,
Oh, Bruce Willis?
yeah, you know, because you're so obsessed with that little red dot
Yeah, I'm gonna
on
see if he hit it or not. Be funny if he even hit the wrong press.
Jesus. But anyway, so you know, that has that little, you know, and then Bruce Willis ends up
Shooting him, and when
well
the
because actually,
oh, you gotta start talking about the infamous scene with Mr. Walken.
well, yeah, I forgot about that, but I'm saying with with um, Vincent Vega and the coffee shop scene at the end with Sam Jackson because Sam Jackson's done.
Yeah, he's already
He's
doing
already
his
decided
kung
he's
fu.
getting out of the thing, and he says he's going to walk the earth like Cain and the Kung Fu.
Yeah,
You know, they're back. They're in the coffee shop now. They go get something to eat, and as they're in the coffee shop talking, Travolta goes to the bathroom. That's when Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer rob the coffee shop, and then it's another big freaking scene where the suitcase comes up again because
yeah.
he's trying to, you know,
He's like,
Tim Roth
I
want
can't give this to you because it doesn't belong to me.
right, right.
And he's like, I like how you guys found out this little cash scheme.
Yeah, I mean we're jumping over some stuff. You'll have to
Yeah,
watch the movie, but it's just they go back and forth,
yeah.
and Sam Jackson has a really cool scene with Tim Roth, and
Oh
Amanda
my gosh, yeah.
Plummer, and he's saying, I'm buying your life, so I
Yeah.
don't have to kill your ass.
Yeah.
You pull this shit
Oh, it's
when I'm in
beautifully written.
when I'm in a a transition type
Period, yeah.
period in my life, and because Tim Roth is robbing everybody, and they go to Jules,
But you
throw
know,
his wallet in there, and
the bad motherfucker.
yeah,
But did you get that sense of when he's talking to Tim Roth's character? Tim Roth has that look on his face of like, I can't believe I'm in this situation right now.
well,
Like
yeah,
he like a feeling of defeat.
well, yeah, because I mean,
Until then, he's like, I'm gonna buy your life.
well, yeah, because he's expecting to rob all these people, no problem, and here this guy has gotten
Yeah.
the drop on him. This is one guy that
And then
I can't.
Vincent comes out.
Yeah, and Vincent comes out, and uh,
Point the gun
Amanda
back to me.
Plummer's going crazy up
Yeah,
there,
he's
and
like, point the
remember
gun back to me,
he
baby.
tells her, "Yolanda, be cool,"
That's it.
like Fonzie. And what is Fonzie? Cool.
We're all gonna be three little
Yeah,
Fonzies.
yeah. So then after that scene, uh, is when
The Bruce
the
Willis.
Bruce Willis thing really happens because Jules isn't with John Travolta waiting for Bruce after he throws the fight.
See, I kind of thought about something about that. When we know Jules is getting out of the life,
Hmm.
Vincent's by himself.
Right.
And that's why it's kind of like maybe foreshadow of why he got killed because not with Jules anymore. That's kind of something I thought
Well,
about.
and you got to look at it this way also. He didn't take in consideration the divine interference with them not being killed.
Guy getting shot.
Jules saw that, God's telling him, get out of this life. This is
Yeah,
not the way
trust
your
me.
life should go.
You're not. Yeah,
So Vincent ignores that. And what happens? He ends up getting
get
killed.
killed.
You know, Jules isn't with him anymore, and he's hiding in there, but Bruce gets the drop on him. So the choices that these two people make,
Oh my God,
Jules
yeah.
says that one incident where it affects Jules so spiritually, and it doesn't Travolta, causes Vincent's
Keep
life.
doing the life. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way it's going. And then the Jules saw that, hey,
Oh, he saw it, man.
this is it.
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm changing my life.
Hence why he didn't shoot those two people.
Yeah, that's why he didn't shoot those people, because normally he's like he told him, no, normally you'd be dead as
All right, so Vincent was told to go to Bruce Willis's apartment because why?
because
Because he thought that maybe he would go and get stuff before they left town.
well, yeah, he wanted him to. You mean why John Travolta was at Bruce Willis's
Well,
apartment?
I might mess that up.
Yeah.
How did it come to be where Bruce Willis killed Vincent in his apartment?
Well, Vincent was in there waiting for him,
Yeah,
going to hit him,
right,
and Vincent was in the bathroom.
right. So Bruce Willis
Bruce Willis, after
has to go back to
his to get the gold,
that's what I was
his
going
dad,
for.
he forgot his dad's gold watch that his watch that he carried through that had been in his family for generations. So he goes back to get this damn gold watch, and that's when he hears something in the bathroom, and he sees a Uzi laying on the
The
counter.
counter,
So he
yeah.
picks it up.
Makes himself like some what are those things called? Those breakfast
Yeah,
squares,
those Pop
Pop-Tarts.
Tarts.
Yeah.
And they pop up, and Vincent comes out, which is so dumb. Vincent goes in there without his gun,
I
no
know.
gun, and he's just in there. And but I guess he wasn't expecting Bruce to be.
Well, nobody did. I
Yeah,
mean, would you?
that was a shocker for me too when
Yeah.
Travolta gets
It's
killed.
like fuck, you can go buy a ton of those watches, same watch or
when he
whatever.
gets killed, I was like, did this just happen? What? Yeah, and then you're trying to piece it all together.
Yeah.
And then you hear the story of the gold watch, which
Epic.
Christopher Walken comes. He had served with his dad, and he tells the history of this gold watch all through the years. I mean, I can't quote the whole thing because it's so long.
Yeah.
But
But he was
that,
telling them, like, look,
but that,
I shoved this gold watch up my butt
yeah, that's
to
one of,
bring it to you.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the thing about that's why he goes back to his apartment to get that watch, and so it all connects together. This film is just one ride after the
Oh my
other. I mean,
gosh, yeah.
one adrenaline rush after the other. The music is great in it.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, it's just it
And if
has,
you buy the soundtrack, they have little clips of the movie line, some certain movie lines before the song plays on the soundtrack, which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's a really cool sound. Tarantino always has cool music
Yeah,
in his movies and stuff.
that's true.
So do you have anything to add, Dave,
Please,
to
if you
this?
haven't seen this movie, see it now. Even if you're like, I'm not a big Tarantino fan, it is such a different movie that you haven't seen. The way it's shot, the way it's pieced together, the actors are at their best.
Yeah.
I mean,
And one thing we don't talk about is editing a lot on these things are
that's true.
just
It was edited by Sally Menke, who
yeah.
has passed.
Oh, did she really? Oh, I
Yeah,
did not know that.
I think her last movie was Hateful Eight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but it was either Inglorious Bastards or Hateful Eight that she passed
Wow,
away.
Sally Menke?
Yeah,
I did not know she passed away.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah, she
please,
passed away in 2010.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, definitely check this movie out. And look, if you're not a fan of graphic violence and graphic language,
Yeah, this is definitely a rated R movie,
yeah,
not for kids,
definitely not.
Uh, but it has some.
But if you find it on TV where they edit out all the stuff, it's still the TV edit of it is still good. Because I remember one night I watched it when they cut all the bad stuff out, and it's still very entertaining.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to watch it with that. I mean, I just don't. I don't like when they
No, I don't either,
they
but
do
I
that.
mean, certain ones are pretty good. Goodfellas is another example because all the actors from Goodfellas went and redid, dubbed all their lines
Yeah.
themselves. It's so cool.
God.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's Pulp Fiction. I love it. It's probably my number two favorite movie of all time. I mean,
Really? Yeah.
it was at the right, it came out at the right time, the right place, and I was the right age with the right friends, uh, you're right. Everybody, even if they didn't see it, people told them about it, and those people told other people about it and stuff.
Yeah. Like we said, you either hate this movie
Or
or
yeah,
you love it.
it is one of
There's no.
those.
There's no.
No in
It's just like
between.
being an Elvis and a Beatles fan. Either you're an Elvis or you're a Beatles fan.
Yeah, that was in the deleted scene for
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're either gonna really like this movie or you're
Yeah.
gonna really hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
And let us know which one.
let us know if you like it or hate it.
Yeah, we'd love to know. You can send us an email at spitballcinema@gmail.com.
Yeah, or leave a
Leave a
comment.
comment
Yeah,
on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify.
yeah. Please, if you
Yeah,
like this episode, thumbs up it, leave a comment, share it,
subscribe,
subscribe.
follow.
Yeah, we'll definitely we're into
Yeah,
this
and we
big time.
usually will respond.
Oh my
I
gosh, yeah,
usually respond to
yeah.
if we get comments or something.
And
So,
we really take everybody's comment to heart.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Pulp Fiction.
So
I'm Scott.
I'm David. Thank you
And,
guys. I love you.
yep, thank you so much for listening, folks.
So cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Lord only knows.